history questions of test 9. The first question is regarding Satavahana administration. So let's read the question. Consider the following statements regarding Satavahana's administration. Administrative units were influenced by Mauryan Empire. This statement is right. You have to find the correct statement. Golmika was the rural administrative head. This is also right. They started the practice of granting tax-free villages to Brahmanas and Buddhist monks. Yes, this is also right. So option D is the right answer. Okay. So Satavahanas, their period is from 1st century BCE to 2nd century CE, Common Era. They are one of the post-Mauryan states. The post-Mauryan states include Shungas, Kanvas, Cheti, Satavahanas. The area of their reign was Deccan in central India. Satavahanas defeated Kanvas and established power in central India. So the founder of Satavahana was Simukha, and the important ruler was Gautamiputra Satakarni. The Satavahana administration was influenced by Mauryan Empire, but Mauryan Empire was very large and it had a very centralized bureaucracy. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. Consider the following statements pertaining to Huanshan's account of Harsha's kingdom. So you're going to find the incorrect statements here. Pataliputra and Vaishali were in a state of decline, while Prayag and Kanauj in the Doab became an important center. This is right. The Shudras were generally agriculturists and they could pursue agriculture independently. This is also right. So neither 1 nor 2 is the right answer. So Harsha made Kanauj his new capital, and Nepal, Kashmir all came under his control. And regarding the society, there was fourfold division and many subcastes also existed. So Harsha's time, Harsha followed Gupta, and Harsha's time period was 6th century CE, after the Guptas. Third question is regarding the conflict between Chalukyas and Pallavas during the 6th to 8th century CE. So here also you have to find the incorrect statement. The first statement is they were trying to establish supremacy over the land lying between Krishna and Kaveri Doab. A-hole inscription gives us some idea about the struggle between Chalukyas and Pallavas. During the entire period of struggle, the Pallava kings never occupied the Chalukyas' capital and always remained at bay. So what are the incorrect statements? 1 and 3 are the incorrect statements. So A-hole inscription, it was composed by Ravi Kirti, who was the court poet of Pulakesin II. Okay. Pallavas occupied Chalukyas' capital. In the end, Pallavas won. Okay, Chalukyas were defeated. Narasimhavarman won, defeated the Chalukyas. Mahendravarman I was also part of this conflict. Okay. So fourth question is consider the following statement about the Sangam economy. Here you have to find the correct statement. Sangam age is between 3rd century BCE to 3rd century CE, Common Era. Most important feature of Sangam economy was flourishing trade with Romans. Yes, this is true. So the Sangam age people exported cotton, spices, ivory products, pearls, precious stones, and they imported from Rome, they imported gold, horses, wine, etc. Second statement, discovery of monsoons and the use of direct sea route between Indian coast and western world as well as Southeast Asia was main reason for the growth of trade. Yes, discovery of monsoon was an important reason. Chola king Karikala of the Sangam age is credited with constructing a dam on river Kaveri. That's also right. Rice was the most important crop that formed the staple food as well as medium of barter exchange for inland trade. Yes, this is also right. So all the statements are true, hence option D is the right answer. Fifth question is about the Gupta administration. Here you have to find the correct statement. Gupta was the largest administrative zone in the empire. Uparikas were entrusted only with military responsibilities. This is wrong. Uparikas were the head of Bhuktis. First statement is right. Bhukti was the largest administrative zone in the empire. And religious functionaries were empowered to punish criminals. This is right. So statement 1 and 2 are right. So the period of Guptas is from 320 AD to 550 AD. Guptas were the feudatories of Kushans and founder was Sri Gupta. Okay, let's move on to the sixth question. It's about the Pandya kingdom. You have to find the correct statements. Pandya kingdom, according to Megasthenes, was known for pearls. Yes, this is right. Pandyan society was patriarchal. No, it was matriarchal. Chief center of Pandyan political power was at Urayur, which is known for the cotton trade. No, that is wrong. Urayur was the place of Cholas. Madurai was the place of Pandyas. Okay, so only statement 1 is right, so option A is the right answer. You can go through the explanation here. Which of the statements with regard to art and craft in post-modern age is right? You have to find the correct statements. A special type of cloth called Sataka was manufactured at Mathura. Yes, this is true. All Kushan gold coins were minted out of Roman gold. No, this is wrong. They sourced their gold from India as well. Central Asia also. Okay. So statement 1 is right, hence option A is the right answer. Next question is with regard to Gupta Empire. During the Gupta period, priestly landlords were given a land grant. You have to find the incorrect statements. This is correct. Fahin visited India during the reign of Samudragupta. This is wrong. Samudragupta, he was called as the Napoleon of India by historians. Fahin visited during Chandragupta II's time. Third statement, India's trade with Roman Empire was adversely affected when the art of growing silk was learnt by Romans. Yes, this is right. Attacks of Hunas and dwindling foreign trade with the Roman Empire hastened the decline of Gupta Empire. Okay, so statement 1 and 3 are right. Only statement 2 is wrong, so option A is the right answer. Next is, which of the following statements are correct? Land taxes decreased in number during the Gupta period, however those on trade and commerce increased. No, this is wrong. Land taxes increased. In Gupta Empire, Uparika was in charge of Vishayas. No, Vishayas are districts. Bhuktis were divided into Vishayas. So Vishayas was taken care by Vishayapati. So Vishayapati was in charge of Vishayas. Buddhism received royal patronage during Gupta period as in the days of Ashoka and Kanishka. No, this is wrong. It did not receive much patronage. But Gupta period is known as the golden age in art and architecture. Kalidasa wrote Abhijnana Shakuntalam and Amarkosha was written by Amarasimha. This is right. So option D is the right answer. Next, let's move on to the 10th question. You have to find which statements are incorrect. Bhanabhatta wrote a book called Harsha Charita. Yes, this is right. Harsha's administration was more feudal and decentralized than that of Gupta's. Yes, this is right. Huan Sang visited India during Harsha's reign. Yes, that's also right. Nalanda was the most famous center of Hinayana Buddhism during Harsha's age. No, this is wrong. It is Mahayana Buddhism. So option B is the incorrect statement. Okay, so in the book Harsha Charita we can find all the details about Harsha. So Huan Sang stayed in India for 15 years. So Harsha's administration was more feudal. He continued land grants to priests and gave land grants to officers also. That further made his empire more feudal and decentralized. Okay, so finally statement D is option D is the right answer. So question number 11, Sanskrit was the official language of the peninsula since the Mauryan period. No, this is wrong. Prakrit was given importance. Next, Aihole inscription was issued in Sanskrit language by Ravi Kirti, the court poet of Pulakeshin II. Yes, this is right. Only statement 2 is right, hence option B is the right answer. With reference to Nalanda University, consider the following statements. Skandagupta founded it. This is wrong. Kumaragupta founded it. Buddhist doctrines only related to Mahayana were taught here. This is wrong. Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana were taught here. Sculptures at Nalanda were heavily inspired by the Buddhist art at Sanchi and drew inspiration from it. This is also wrong. Not only from Sanchi, inspiration is drawn from different other places also, like Sarnath. All the 3 statements are incorrect, so option D is the right answer. Let's move on to question number 14. Consider the following statements regarding Satavahana dynasty. Founder of Satavahana dynasty was Simukha. Yes, this is right. They patronized Buddhism and Brahmanism. This is also right. They patronized Kannada language and literature. This is wrong. They patronized Prakrit language and literature. So, if you rule out option 3, option 1 and 2 are right. So they patronized Buddhism and Brahmanism. They built chaityas and viharas. They also made grants of villages and lands to Buddhist monks. And Brahmanism was revived by Satavahanas along with the performance of Ashwamedha and Rajasuya sacrifices. Next is question number 15. Consider the following statements regarding Samudragupta. You have to find the correct statements. Allahabad pillar inscription provides a detailed account of Samudragupta's reign. This is right. This pillar inscription tells us about his military campaigns against North Indian rulers and Dakshinapatha expedition. So because of his military achievements, he was called as Indian Napoleon. So he was largely hailed as Indian Napoleon due to his military achievements. This is right. Option 1 and 2 are right, so you can rule out these 3 options. So option A will be the right answer. Even without reading the third statement, you can come to a conclusion. Okay, so he was an ardent follower of Shaivism. This is wrong. He was an ardent follower of Vaishnavism. Okay. Question number 16. Which of the following was or were the observation of Fahim when he visited India? You have to find the correct statements. Buddhism was in a flourishing condition in the northwestern India, but in the Gangetic Valley it was in a state of neglect. Yes, this is right. Economic conditions of the Gupta Empire was prosperous. This is also right. So option C will be the right answer. Fahim visited India during the time of Chandragupta II. Next is question number 17. Here also you have to find the correct statement. Power and glory of Gupta Empire reached its peak under the rule Chandragupta II Vikramaditya. Samudragupta aided in the foundation of Nalanda University. This is wrong. Kumaragupta. We have already seen this. So option 2 will be wrong. Option 1, statement 1 is right. So Chandragupta II Vikramaditya, he contributed to the general cultural progress of the age and patronized great literary figures like Kalidasa. So statement 1 is right, hence option A is the right answer. Consider the following statements regarding the Pallava kingdom. Mahendravarman I assumed the title Vatapikonda by defeating Pulakeshin. Pulakeshin, this is wrong, it is Pulakeshin II. Early Pallava ruler gave patronage to Prakrit language. This is right. They issued their charters in Prakrit. Chola king Aditya I defeated the last Pallava ruler Aparajita. This is also right. And the Chola king seized Kanchi region. With this, the rule of Pallava dynasty came to an end. So statement 1 is wrong, 2 and 3 are the right answer. Hence option D is the right answer. Consider the following statements. Here also have to find the correct answer. Correct statements. Samudragupta was the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty to adopt grand title of Maharajadiraj. This is wrong. It was Chandragupta who was the first ruler to adopt such titles. After that, Samudragupta also used that title. Allahabad pillar inscription was composed as a kavya by Harisena. Yes, this is right. He was a minister at the court of Samudragupta. Vikram Samvat is the official calendar of Nepal. This is also right. Okay. So option A is the right answer because statement 2 and 3 are right. Statement 1 is wrong. Question number 20. With reference to the local assemblies during Pallava kingdom, consider the following statements. Find the correct statements here. Sabha was an assembly of non-Brahmin landowners. This is wrong. Sabha was an assembly of Brahmin landowners. Nagaram was an organization of merchants. Yes, this is right. The Ur was a village assembly found in areas where the landowners were Brahmins. This is wrong. Ur was a village assembly found in areas where the landowners were not Brahmins. So statement 2 and 3 are wrong. Only statement 1 and 3 are wrong. So only statement 2 is right. So option B is the right answer. Question number 21. Hathigumpha inscription records the achievement of Kushan ruler Kanishka. This is wrong. Hathigumpha inscription talks about Kharvela. Kushan kings were the first in Indian history to make tax-free land grants to Buddhists and Brahmanas to gain religious merit. This is wrong. Satavahanas were the first. Both the statements are wrong. Hence option D is the right answer. Question number 22. Harshavardhana shifted his capital from Kannauj to Thanesar. You have to find the correct statements. This is wrong. The kingdom of Kannauj was merged with that of Pushyabhutis, and Harsha shifted his capital from Thanesar to Kannauj. So he shifted to Kannauj. Chinese Buddhist pilgrim Huansang visited India during reign of Harsha. Yes, this is right. Hence option B is the correct answer. Question number 23. With reference to the administration of Gupta kingdom, consider the following statements. Uparikas and Udrangas are agricultural taxes. Yes, this is right. In the Gupta administration was highly centralized in nature. This is wrong. It was feudal, decentralized. Practice of forced labor was absent. This is wrong. Only option A is right. Only statement 1 is right, so option A is the right answer. Which of the following texts deals with a love story in which a dignitary Kovalan prefers a courtesan Madhavi of Kaveri Pattanam to his noble wedded wife Kannagi? Silappadigaram is the right answer. So option B will be the right answer. Which of the following items were exported by kingdoms of the south during Sangam age? Pepper, ivory, silk, pearls, all these were exported. So option D is the right answer. Why did Buddhism start declining in India in the early medieval times? Buddha was by the time considered as one of the incarnations of Vishnu and thus became a part of Vaishnavism. Yes, this is the right answer. This is the right statement. The invading tribes from Central Asia till the time of last Gupta king adopted Hinduism and persecuted Buddhists. No, this is wrong. Kings of Gupta dynasty were strongly opposed to Buddhism. No, this is wrong. They did not persecute Buddhism. Okay, so neither they were patrons of Buddhism nor they persecuted Buddhism. Only statement 1 is right, so option A is the right answer. The period between 800 to 900 AD was a period of stagnation and even of decline in trade and commerce between India and the Western countries. Which of the following could be the possible reason for it? Emergence of Roman Empire and its monopoly over trade routes. No, this is wrong. Rise of many states within India. This is right. So there was growth of localism. In those small states, there was marked growth of self-sufficiency. There was growth of agriculture also. Religious restrictions on sea travel in India. Yes, this is right. So statement 2 and 3 are right. So option B is the right answer. Consider the following statement regarding Kharoshthi script. It was introduced in India due to contact with Iranian scribes. Yes, this is right. It is written from left to right like Devanagari. No, this is wrong. It's written from right to left. Some Ashokan inscriptions in northwest India were written in this script. So statement 2 is wrong. Only statement 1 is right. Hence option A is the right answer. Question number 29. With reference to Sangam text, the term Veerarkal refers to an assembly or college of poets? No. War booty as an important source of livelihood? No. Stones raised in honor of heroic warriors? Yes, this is right. Option C is the right answer. Question number 30. Consider the following statements regarding Harshavardhana. History of Harsha's reign can be constructed from Allahabad pillar inscription. No. Allahabad pillar inscription is related to Guptas. Huansang, a Chinese pilgrim, visited India during Harsha's reign. Yes, this is right. Only statement 2 is right, hence option B is the right answer. With reference to the Indo-Greeks, which often following statement is not correct. They were the first to issue punch-marked coins in India. Yes, the statement is wrong. They captured a large part of northwest India. Yes, it's right. They failed to establish a united rule in India. That's also right. They introduced features like Hellenistic art in northwest India. That's also right. And the option A will be the right answer. So the first to invade India were the Greeks, who are called the Indo-Greeks or the Bactrian Greeks. They occupied a large part of northwest India, much larger than what was conquered by Alexander, up to Ayodhya and Pataliputra. But they couldn't establish a united rule in India. Most famous Indo-Greek ruler was Menander. They were the first rulers in India to issue coins, which can be definitely attributed to the kings. They were the first to issue gold coins in India, which increased in number under the Kushans. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 32. Consider the following statements. You have to find the correct statements. Ikshvaku, ruler of southern India, were antagonistic towards Buddhism. No, this is wrong. They followed religion, but they followed Vedic religion, but they also supported Buddhist religion. Pala rulers of eastern India were patrons of Buddhism. This is right. Bengal emerged as prominent nucleus of Buddhism under Pala dynasty. Statement 1 is wrong, statement 2 is right, hence option B is the right answer. With reference to the guilds, Shrenis of ancient India that played a very important role in the country's economy, which of the following statement is all correct? Every guild was registered with the central authority of the state and the king was the chief administrative authority on them. This is wrong. The wages, rules of work, standard and prices were fixed by the guild. Yes, that's right. The guild had judicial powers over its members. This is also right. 2 and 3 are right, so option C is the right answer. So every guild had its heads without any intervention by the kingdom. It was also important for governing the local bodies. Next question is question number 34. With reference to the scientific progress of ancient India, which of the following statements given below are correct? Different kinds of specialized surgical instruments were in common use by the 1st century AD. Yes, that's right. Transplant of internal organs in human body had begun by the beginning of 3rd century AD. This is wrong. Concept of sine of an angle was known in the 5th century AD. This is right. Concept of cyclic quadrilaters was known in 7th century AD. This is also right. So only statement 2 is wrong, hence option C is the right answer. Question number 35. You have to select the correct statements. Rashtrakutas widely patronized the Sanskrit literature. This is right. There were many Sanskrit scholars in Rashtrakutas' courts. Kannada literature saw its beginning during Rashtrakutas. Yes, this is right. Kalidasa temple was built during Amogha Varsha's reign. No, this is wrong. Sorry, it's not Kalidasa temple, it's Kailasha temple. Kailasha temple, it's present at Ellora. It was excavated during the reign of Krishna I. Okay? So option A is the right answer. Question number 36 is regarding the Cholas. Raja I completed the construction of the famous Brihadishwara temple at Tanjore. This is right. It was completed in 1010 AD. Chola kingdom undertook royal tours to increase the efficiency of the administration. Yes, this is right. Chola they had an excellent system of administration. The emperor or the king was at the top of the administration. Vetti is a type of tax which is taken not in cash but in the form of forced labor. Yes, this is right. All the three statements are right since option C is the right answer. Question number 37 is regarding the social-religious conditions during the Gupta's period. The position of women became miserable during the Gupta's period. Yes, this is right. Progress of Brahmanism led to the neglect of Buddhism and Jainism. This is also right. Hence, both the statements are true. Women, they were prohibited from studying religious texts like Puranas. Okay. Question number 38. Harsha prohibited the use of animal food in his kingdom and punished those who killed any living being. Yes, this is right. He followed Shaivism and later he converted to Buddhism. Dowry system was completely abolished in Harsha's empire. No, this is wrong. It was prevalent. Dowry system was prevalent. Harsha organized a religious assembly at Kannauj to honor the Chinese pilgrim Yuan Sang. This is right. So statement 2 is wrong. Hence option 1 and statements 1 and 3 are right. Hence option D is the right answer. Consider the following statements. The power and glory of Gupta Empire reached its peak under the rule of Chandragupta to Vikramaditya. Yes, this is right. Samudragupta laid the foundation of Nalanda University. This is wrong. It's Kumaragupta. So only statement 1 is right and the option A is the right answer. The Nashik and Nanagarh inscriptions speak about whose reign? It speaks about Gautami Putra Satkarni's reign. Okay? So we have come to the end of the discussion. For further details, you can join our Telegram channel. It's Impulse UPSC, where we update the current affairs material every day and we also post current affairs related questions there. If you have any doubts, you can feel free to comment in the comments.
In this test, question number 41 to 80 are from art and culture portion. So let's begin with the discussion. Question number 41. Read the following statements. Statement 1. In Tumri, the compositions are usually sung in a female voice. Statement 2. A ghazal never exceeds the 12 ashar or couplets. Question has asked for incorrect statement and the answer is D. It is because both the statements are correct one. Tumri and ghazals are sometimes called as classical or semi-classical forms. They belongs to Hindustani style of music. So some of the features of Tumri and ghazal are given here. Tumri, it is usually sung in a female voice. Its compositions are either romantic or devotional in nature, and it is considered to be a semi-classical Indian music. Semi-classical is nothing but it has slight deviation from the standard structures. And ghazal is said to have originated in Iran in 10th century, and this ghazal have an influence of Islamic mysticism, and they never exceed the 12 ashara couplets. Amir Khusru is associated with ghazal as well as khayal. Some of the prominent people associated with ghazal are Rumi, then Mirza Ghali, and there are many more famous people associated with Ghazal. So here the answer is D. Question number 42. Match the following. They have listed folk songs and the region. So let's directly go for the answer. Alha, it is from Madhya Pradesh. Panihari, it is from Rajasthan. Pauda is from Maharashtra, and Vanavan is from Kashmir. So Panihari, it is like the song sung by the women while they are going to fetch water in the deserts. So, and Vanavan, it is like it is sung in a marriage ceremony. So the answer here is B. 43rd question. Bansuri, Shanai, and Pungi are, they have listed 4 types of musical instruments. So to answer this question, you should know what these 4 denotes. Here the answer is A, Sushira Vadya. So Sushira Vadya are nothing but wind instruments, similar to flutes. Avananda Vadya is a member of an instrument or percussion instruments like drum. Gana Vadya, they are solid instruments that do not require any tuning. They are also known as idiophonic instruments like cymbals. Then Tada Vadya, they are chordophones or string instruments like veena, guitar, etc. So the answer here is A, Sushira Vadya, which is nothing but wind instruments. 44th question. A community of people called Langha is well known for their, option A is martial art in Northeast India, B is musical tradition in Northwest India, C classical local music in South India, and D Titradura tradition in Central India. The answer is B, it is a musical tradition in Northwest India. This question is based on a previous year question. There was a previous year question. It is like a community of people called Manganayar or Mirza is well known for their, the same options are given here. So they are Muslim community and they are well known for their musical tradition. Some of the other communities which are known for their musical traditions are Karta Bajas and Bauls of West Bengal, Muria tribe of Madhya Pradesh, Kamar community of Chhattisgarh. Here the answer is B. Langha is a community of people who are well known for their musical tradition in Northwest India. 45th question. Which of the following is not among the 9 rasas are emotional responses? So they are Navrasas in music tradition of India. So which of the following is not among the 9 rasas or emotional response? So answer is D, Ananda. So in the explanation, we have listed out the 9 rasas. They are Sringara, which means love, Hasya is humor, Karuna is pathos, Raudra anger, Bhayanka horror, Veer bravery, Abutta wonder, Vibhatsha disgust, and Shant peaceful or calm. So Ananda or joy is not among the Navrasas or 9 rasas. So moving on to next question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, Tala forms the basis of rhythm, and statement 2, Raga becomes the basis of melody. Which of the above is or correct? The answer is C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. There are 3 elements in music. They are pitch or tone, rhythm, and melody. Pitch or tone is also called as swara. Then tala is the rhythm and raga is the melody of a music. So 46th question, both the statements are correct and the answer is C. So tala is the rhythmic grouping of beats and swara is the note or scale degree in a composition. It is also known as tone or pitch. 47th question, choose the incorrect statement. They have listed out 3 elements of dance and have given corresponding definition and asked for the incorrect statements. Statement 1, Natya, it refers to the basic dance steps performed rhythmically but devoid of any expression or mood. Statement 2, Nritta, it means dramatic representation and refers to the story that is elaborated through the dance recital. Statement 3, Nritya refers to the sentiment and emotion evoked through dance. Answer is A, 1 and 2. It is because the definitions are given in vice versa or in the opposite order. It is because Natya means the dramatic expression representation and Nritta refers to the basic dance steps. Statement 3, Nritya they have given a correct statement. It is because it refers to the sentiment or emotion evoked through the dance. So answer is A. 1 and 2 are incorrect statement. It is because they are given in the opposite order. Nritta is basic dance, Natya dramatic representation, and Nritya is the sentiment and emotion evoked through the dance. 48th question. They have listed certain features or characteristic of performing art, that is dance, and they have asked us to find the classical dance which is mentioned here. So statement 1, the origin of this dance form can be traced back to Sadir, the solo dance performance of temple dances. It is often referred to as fire dance. It is also characterized by a Charya Lashyam style in which one dancer plays many different roles. The answer is Bharatanatyam. It is because Bharatanatyam has its origin to the temple dancers who perform in the temple, and each classical dances represent certain elements of earth, and Bharatanatyam here refers to the manifestation of fire in the body, and even the movements of Bharatanatyam is often resembles the moving fire. Then Eka-Charya Lashyam, it is Eka-Lashyam style is one in which the dancer performs many roles. He sometimes he plays both the male and female role, and he also plays the protagonist and antagonist. So answer is D, Bharatanatyam. And in this dance form, equal emphasis is given on both Tandava and the Lashya aspect. Tandava is the masculine side and Lashya is the feminine aspect of the dance, and here an emphasis is given to mudras. 49th question. Consider the following statements regarding Kathakali. Kathakali is essentially an all-male troupe performance. Statement 2, it is also called as the Ballad of East. Statement 3, the language used for Kathakali song is Mani Paravalam. Answer is D, because all the 3 statements are correct. It is essentially an all-male troupe. You can even see from the images that the ornaments or properties which are owned by the performing troops, it is very heavy in nature. So usually it is performed by male troupe. It is also called as Ballad of the East, and the language Manipuravalam is it's a mixture between Sanskrit and Malayalam. Usually Kathakali recitals are the representation of the eternal conflict between good and evil, and it draws themes from the epics and Puranas. This dance form symbolizes the element of sky or ether. Answer is D. 50th question. Which of the following dances is also known as mobile sculpture? They have listed out 4 classical dances: Kuchipudi, Odissi, Kathakali, and Mohiniyattam. And the answer is A, Odissi. It is because the hand gestures play an important role in this dance. Also, the lower body remains largely static, and there is the movement of torso. So they don't move much during the dance performance, but they perform various they involve various hand gestures in their dance. So it looks like a moving sculpture. So this dance is also called as mobile sculpture because the dancer creates intricate geometrical shapes and pattern with her body without moving much, because the lower body remains largely static during the dance. Hence, it is also known as mobile sculpture. 51st question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Nagabandha Mudra, in which the body is connected through curves in the shape of 8, is an important posture in Bharatanatyam dance form. The drum pung is indicate element of Manipuri dance. Which of the above is or true? Answer is B, statement 2 only. It is because Nagabandha Mudra, it is an important posture in Manipuri dance and it is not an important posture of Bharatanatyam dance. And the instrument which is intricately linked to Manipuri dance is pung. Some of the other features of Manipuri dance are here. Both the hand gestures and gentle movement of feet are important. The face is covered with a veil, and so facial expression is of lesser importance. So Nahabandha Mudra, it is an important posture in Manipuri dance. The recurring theme here is Ras Leela, that is Radha and Krishna's love story. The instrument which is used is drum, also called as pung. Flute, kartals, doles are also accompanying the music. Usually the compositions of Jayadeva and Chandidas are extensively used in Manipuri dance. So here's answer is B2 only. 52nd question. Karmalaya, Jugalbandi and Tukdas are related to which of the following dance? They have given Kuchipudi, Kathak, Chow and Satarya, and the answer is Kathak. Every classical dance has certain pattern or elements which are integral to them, and some of the element integral to Kathak are Todas and Tukdas, Jugalbandi and Karmalaya. Todas and Tukdas are small pieces of fast rhythm. Jugalbandi, it is a competitive play between the dancer and the tabla player. Karmalaya is the concluding piece, and it consists of intricate fast footworks. So these three are related to Kathak, and the answer is B. 53rd question. Choose the correct statement about Ankiya Naad, a type of Satarya dance. The statements are: it is also known as Bhavona. It was originally written in Assami Maithili mixed language called Brajavali. It involves story of Lord Shiva. Answer is C, 1 and 2 only. The issue with the statement 3 is it involves story of Lord Vishnu because it is associated with Vaishnava saint Shankara Deva. So some of the features of Satarya dance are: it was introduced by Vaishnava saint Shankara Deva in 15th century in Assam. The art derives its name from the Vaishnava monastery, which is known as Sataras, where it is primarily practiced. And it is a musical drama written in Assamese Maithili mix called Brajavali. It is also called as Bhavona, and it mainly involves the story of Lord Krishna. So the answer here is C, 1 and 2 only. 54th question. Which of the following dances are performed only by women? The given dances are Kalbeleya, Gumar or Gangur, Matki, Biraha. And the answer is C, 1, 2 and 3. Let's see the explanation given. Gumar or Gangur, it is the traditional folk dance of women of Bil tribe in Rajasthan. Kalbeleya, it is also performed by women of Kalabeya community of Rajasthan. The movement and costumes of this dance is also similar to that of a serpent, so it is also called as snake dance. The instrument used here is bean. Matki, it is performed by women of Malwa region, usually on the occasions of wedding and other festivities. It is performed by it is mainly performed individually, and the performance includes balancing of earthen pot on their head. And Biraha, it is the dance of rural Bihar. It portrays pain of women, but it is solely practiced by male. So the answer here is 1, 2 and 3. So the option is C. The 55th question. Which of the following pair is incorrectly matched? And the incorrect pair is Bihu. It is a festival of Assam and not Bihar. It is a harvest festival of Assam. So it is also the odd one here because other three are dance forms. Singhi Cham, it is a lion dance of Sikkim. Shandol, it is a dance form of Ladakh. It is recently in news because a large number of people gather together and perform this dance, and it is listed in Guinness World Record Book. And Paika, it is a folk dance. It is like it is related to a martial art form too. So the answer is C. Bihu. It is related to Assam and not Bihar. The 56th question: which of the following dances are in UNESCO's intangible heritage site? Similar to the tangible heritage list, UNESCO also lists out intangible heritages. So the options given are Kaldeleya, Chau. C is both A and B, and D is neither A or B. Answer is C. Both of them are in the UNESCO's intangible heritage list. So both of these are dance forms, and the other dance which are in this list are Sankirtana of Assam and Ram Leela. And then the theatre forms which are listed in are Kuttiyatam, Ramman and Mudiyettu. So answer is C. 57th question. Identify the theatre form. They have listed out certain features. Statement 1, it is generally considered as a predecessor of Yakshagana. Statement 2, the play is performed while sitting and without any costume, dance or acting. Statement 3, the narration is done by a Bhagavata who is aided by groups of Arthadaris. So the answer is A, Tal Madala. It is the name is originated from the instrument Tal. From the instruments, Tal is a kind of cymbal and Madala is a kind of drum. So some of the features of the other theatres given here are Burakada. It is from Andhra Pradesh. It has also derived its name from the instrument Bura, which is a percussion instrument. Bayalata is an open theatre tradition of Karnataka, and Butakola is also from Karnataka. So here these listed features, that is, it is a predecessor of Yakshagana. It is performed without any costume, dance or acting, and it is narrated by a Bhagavata. These denote the theatre form Tal Madala. 58th question, they have given the books or the works of the works and the respective authors, and they have asked us to find the incorrectly matched pair. Option A is Mircha, Katiga of Sudaka, Malavika Agnimitra, Kalidasa, Mudra Raksha, Vishakadatta, Ratnavali, Ashva, Gosha. And the answer is D. It is because Ratnavali is a work of Harshavardhana and not Ashva Gosha. So some of the other works of Harsha are Nagananda and Priyadarshika. This book, Ratnavali, it is about the love story of the princess Ratnavali, daughter of the king of Ceylon and the king Udayana. Sudraka's Mirchika Katika, it is the plot revolves around the love affair of a young Brahmin, Charudatta, with a wealthy courtesan. Then Vishakadatta's Mudra Raksha, it is a political drama. It narrates the ascent of King Chandragupta Maurya to power. And Kalidasa's Malavika Agnimitra, it revolves around the love story of Malavika and Agnimitra, who is the son of Pushyamitra Sunga. So answer here is D. 59th question. They have given puppetries and the pipe. So let's directly see the answer. Putal Nach, it is a rod type of puppetry. It is mainly famous in West Bengal region. Gombayata, it is a string form of puppetry. It is famous in Karnataka. Pavakuttu, it is a glove puppetry and it is from Kerala. Ravanchaya, it is shadow puppetry and it is from Odisha. So the answer here is B. Then 60th question. Sankirtana is a ritual singing in the state of, they have listed 4 states, and the answer is C, Manipuri. Sorry, I think I have in the previous question told Sankirtana is from Assam. I'm sorry for the error. So Sankirtana, it is ritual singing in the state of Manipur, and it is also listed in UNESCO's Intangible Heritage List. So this is also related to Manipuri Vaishnavites. And then the musical instrument used here are cymbal and drums. 61st question, choose the incorrect statement. Statement 1, Indo-Aryan group of languages is the largest language group of India, and around 90% of Indians speak those languages. Statement 2, Telugu is numerically the largest of all Dravidian languages. Answer is A. Statement 1 is wrong and statement B is correct, and they have asked for incorrect statement. In the statement 1, the first part is correct. It is because Indo-Aryan group of language is the largest language group in India, but the issue is with the percentage. It is because nearly 74% and not 90% of Indians speak Indo-Aryan group of languages. And Telugu is the largest, numerically largest Dravidian language, while Tamil is the oldest of all Dravidian languages. 62nd question, they have listed some language and asked for which among them is not in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. So the answer is English, and languages which are listed in the schedule, 8th schedule, there are 22 languages, and they have been listed in this slide. So moving on to next question. 63rd question, choose the correct statements about Brahma Samprada. There are various type of Sampradas in Hinduism. Here the question has asked about Brahma Samprada. First statement, the founder was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the statement 2, ISKCON belongs to this Samprada. Answer is B, 2 only. It is because the founder was not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is Madhavacharya, but the type of Vaishnavism propounded by Chaitanya, it belongs to this Brahma Samprada. The Vaishnavism promoted by him is called Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and he is also associated with this Samprada, but not the founder. So the founder is Madhavacharya, and ISKCON temple, ISKCON grouping belongs to this Samprada. Though the name states Brahma Samprada, it is associated with Lord Vishnu. The answer is B, 2 only. 64th question, choose the incorrect statement regarding Ajavikas. So there are orthodox and heterodox school of philosophies, and Ajavika is a heterodox school. It belongs to a heterodox school along with Jainism, Buddhism. So they have listed out certain statements. They have asked for incorrect statements. So statement 1 or the option A is they oppose Buddhism and Jainism and were atheists. They also rejected the authorities of Vedas like Buddhism and Jainism. The school revolves around Niyati or fate, a doctrine of absolute determinism, and they did not believe in the existence of soul in every living being. Answer is D. It is because they believe in the existence of soul, but the difference between them is according to them, soul is in material form, unlike Jains, who also believe in the concept of soul, but they associate soul with the non-material being. So the founder of this Ajavika sect is Makali Koshala. It is founded around 5th century, and the main theme here is Niyati or fate. According to them, everything is predetermined in this world and we cannot change our fate. So they opposed Buddhism and Jainism. They also rejected the authorities of Vedas. They don't believe in karma doctrine, but they believed in existence of soul, but they gave them a material form. And one of the famous proponent or follower of Ajavika sect is Bindusara. 65th question, choose the following regarding Buddhism. The predecessor of Buddha under Buddhism was Maitreya, and his successor will be Kassapa Buddha. Second statement, the concept of Sangha was initiated by Buddha at the time of his first sermon. They have asked for the correct statement, and the answer is B. It is because here the two Buddhas are given in the opposite order. That is, the predecessor of Buddha is Kassapa Buddha, and the future Buddha, the successor, is Maitreya. So statement 1 becomes wrong, and statement 2 is the correct one. There are three jewels or Triratnas embraced under Buddhism. They are Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Buddha means the enlightened one. Dhamma is the teaching of Buddha and the doctrines. And Sangha is the monastic order. And the monastic order was initiated by Buddha himself at the time of his first sermon. The answer here is B, 2 only. 66th question, choose the correct statement. It is also related to Buddhism. So Tripitakas have been written in Prakriti language. It is one of the important texts of Buddhism. In the second council, there was a split in Buddhism and two sects were born, Hinayana and Mahayana Buddhism. Third one, it accepts the concept of existence of soul or Atman, unlike Jainism. And D, Buddhism is said to be contemporary of King Bimbisara. And the answer is D. Let's see what are the twists given in the first three statements. So Tripitaka have been written in Pali and not Prakriti language, and Buddhism was split into two sects in the fourth council of Kanishka and not in the second council, and it didn't accept the concept of existence of soul, unlike Jainism. We have seen in the previous question itself that Jainism and Ajavikas, they believe in the concept of soul, but Buddhism doesn't believe in the concept of soul. The common thing or similarity between both Buddhism and Jainism is they believe in the doctrine of karma, but Ajavikas, they didn't believe the concept of karma. So don't confuse soul and karma. So Buddha is a contemporary of Bimbisara, a Magadhan, a person related to the Magadha region. Next one, 67th question. Choose the incorrect statement regarding Hinayana Buddhism. There are two sects in Buddhism, Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana is the older one, while Mahayana is the later, the offshoot of the Buddhism, older Buddhism. So the statements are: Emperor Ashoka patronized Hinayana sect. They believe in individual salvation. It means the greater vehicle, and they did not believe in idol or image worship of Buddha. So Hinayana have told you it is the older form or the original form. So later some modification, there was some modification, and the newer form, it is called as Mahayana Buddhism. In the old original form, in Hinayana Buddhism, they believe in individual salvation rather than the concept of bodhisattvas, which is related to Mahayana. And Hinayana is called as a lesser vehicle, while Mahayana is called as greater vehicle. And they don't believe in idol or image worship, and this idol worship is also related to Mahayana Buddhism and not Hinayana. So they have asked you for incorrect statement, and the incorrect statement is it means the greater wheel. So the other three statements are correct. Well, I have told you that Hinayana is the older one. So Ashoka is a ruler who is before Kanishka. It is because in the fourth council only it is split into two sects. So Ashoka is an emperor who ruled before Kanishka. So from this we can conclude that he patronized Hinayana form of Buddhism. So we have seen other options explanation. So the same thing is given here. It is more of an orthodox school. The school includes the followers of original preaching of Buddha. It means lesser vehicle. And Ashoka patronized Hinayana sect as Mahayana came into being much later. and they believe in individual salvation, and they do not believe in image or idol worship of Buddha. 68th question. Choose the correct statement. Mahayana school believe in 6 perfections or paramitas to be followed by an individual. Statement 2. One of the subsect of Mahayana being developed in the later period was Theravada Buddhism. So here the answer is A. Statement 1 is correct while statement 2 is incorrect. So let's see what are the 6 paramitas in which the Mahayana school believes. So they are Dana, Sila, Shanti, Virya, Dhyana, and Prajana. And the one of the subsect of Mahayana, it is not Theravada Buddhism. Subsect of Mahayana, subsect of Mahayana developed in the later period was Vajrayana and not Theravada Buddhism. So Buddhism split into Mahayana and Hinayana, and from Mahayana and Hinayana there are also further subsect. So subsect of Mahayana is Vajrayana and Hinayana is Theravada Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism is related to Hinayana and Vajrayana is related to Mahayana. So here the answer is A, one only. Next question. Vishuddhi Marga, the path of purification, is the great treatise on Vajrayana Buddhist school written by Buddhaghosa. Second statement, Theravada believes in the concept of Vibhajavadi, that is teaching of analysis. And the answer here is B, 2 only. It is because Vishuddhi Marga, that path of purification, it is a great treatise on Theravada Buddhism and not Vajrayana Buddhism. So also Theravada Buddhism believes in the concept of Vibhajavada, that is teaching of analysis. So this book was written by Buddhaghosa in 5th century AD in Sri Lanka. It discusses the 7 stages of purification, that is known as Satta Vishuddhi. So hence the name Vishuddhi Marga. Marga is path and Vishuddhi is purification. Satta is 7 stages of purification, and it believes in the concept of teaching of analysis. Next question. Anekatantavada is the principal doctrine of which of the following religion? The answer is B, Jainism, and it is also a previous year question. And the Anekantavada doctrine means there exists non-absolutism. It means no single statement can describe the nature of existence and the absolute truth. It is because the truth and reality is really a complex one. So Anekantavada means non-absolutism, and it is the fundamental doctrine of Jainism. Answer is B. 71st question. Choose the correct statement. Bhadrabahu was an exponent of Digambara sect. Digambara Jain believed that women cannot be Tirthangara. And the answer is C. Both the statements are correct. Similar to Buddhism, Jainism was also divided into 2 sects. They are Digambaras and Svedambaras. So Digambaras moved down to south, and they are usually they resided in the regions of Karnataka. So the one who is related with this sect who moved to Karnataka, they are is Bhadrabahu. He is the chief exponent. So let's see the explanation. The Digambaras follow all the 5 constraints. They are Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Aparigraha, and Brahmacharya as per the teaching of Mahavira, unlike Shvetambara who follow 4 constraints. And then Bhadrabahu was an exponent of Digambara sect. They moved to Karnataka along with his disciples. Digambara Jains believe that women cannot be a Tirthankara, and here the rules are more rigid. 72nd question. Which of the following kingdoms were associated with the life of Buddha? Avanti, Gandhara, Koshala, and Magadha. So we have seen he is the contemporary of Bimbisara, who is a Magadha ruler. So the answer would contain the answer would contain the 4th, one, that is Mahada. So the option which has fourth mentioned places C and D. So we can eliminate A and B, and we have to come to the conclusion between C and D. So answer is D, 3 and 4 only. Gandhara and Avanti are not related with the life of Buddha. So he visited the kingdoms of Kosala and Mahada, and the places visited by him are Kapilavastu, Rajagriha, Vaishali, Gaya, Bodh Gaya, Sarnath, Koshambi, Shravasti. It is the capital of the Kosala kingdom. Kushinara, Nalanda, Mathura, Varanasi, etc. So answer here is his life is associated with Kosala and Mahada kingdom and not with Avanti and Gandhara. 73rd one. Which of the following work is not written by Harshavardhana? We have already seen in the previous question the other works of Harshavardhana along with Ratnavalli. So here the answer is D. Vikramorvasiya. The three main works of Harshavardhana are Ratnavalli, Nagananda, and Priyadarshika. We have seen about the plot of Ratnavalli. Let's see about the Nagananda and Priyadarshika. Nagananda, it revolves around the story of how Prince Jitavahana gives up his own body to stop a sacrifice of serpent to the divine Garuda. And then Priyadarshika, it revolves around the story of union of Udayana and Priyadarshika, who is the daughter of King Nrityavarman. Vikram Amorvasya, which depicts, it is the work of Kalidasa, and it depicts the love story between Vikram and Urvashi. So the answer here is D. Vikrama Urvashya, because it is work of Kalidasa and not Harsha. 74th question, choose the incorrect statement. Abhidhamma Pitaka covers the rules and regulation which should be followed by Buddhism. Statement 2, Vinaya Pitaka concentrate on philosophies and metaphysics. So there are three Pitakas which are closely related to Buddhism. They are Abhidhamma Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and Suddha Pitaka. So here they have asked for incorrect statement. Both the statements are incorrect. So let's see what each of these books is related to. Vinaya Pitaka, it covers the rules and regulation. Abhidhamma Pitaka concentrates on philosophy. So you can see they have given Abhidhamma Pitaka covers the rules, but actually it is the Vinaya Pitaka which is related to the rules, and Abhidhamma Pitaka is related to the philosophy. And then the Sutta Pitaka, it contains the dialogue and speeches of Buddhism that deals mainly with morality and righteous dharma. So answer is C, both the statements are wrong because they are given in the reverse order. 75th question, the three gems of Kannada literature, Pampa, Ponna, and Rana, are famous writers related to which of the following religion? And the answer is A, Jainism. So we have seen Digambaras like moved down to south and they have settled in Karnataka. So there was influence of those Jains in the literature of Kannada. So these three gems of Kannada literature are related to Jainism. So because between 9th and 12th century, Jain monks wrote extensively in Kannada. 76th question, consider the following regarding Krishna Deva Raya. Statement 1, he was scholar and patron of many languages which includes Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, and Sanskrit. He also wrote treatise in Sanskrit which includes Mandalasa Charita and Jambavati Kalyanam. One of the famous book of Krishna Deva Raya is Amulya Malyada. It is the famous work which is known, but he has also wrote other books such as Mandalasha Charita, Satyavadu, Parinaya, Rasamanjari, and Jambavati Kalyana. So statement 2 is correct, and statement 1 is also a correct one because he patronized many languages. His reign is also known as the golden age of Telugu literature, and in his court there were 8 learned literary persons. They are called Ashta Digajas. So the famous work is Amukta Malyada, but there are also other works written by him, and one among them is Jampavati Kalyana and Mandalasa Charita. So the answer is C. Both the statements are correct. 77th question. Which of the following is not correctly matched? They have given the philosophy and the proponents or founders. So the answer incorrectly matched pair is C. Mimamsa Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is related to Vedanta philosophy and not Mimamsa one. So the philosophy and the proponents are Samkhya, its proponent is Kapil Muni, Vaisheshika, its proponent is Kannada, Mimamsa, Sabarswami and Kumarila Bhatta and not Shankaracharya. Nyaya, it is related to Gautama. Answer is C. 78th statement. Question. Choose the incorrect statement. Statement 1. The Vedanta theory gave credence to the theory of karma. Statement 2 or option B. The main focus of Vaisheshika philosophy was on the ritualistic part of Vedas. Nyaya school believes in technique of logical thinking to achieve salvation. Charvaka school argued against the need to achieve salvation, denied the existence of Brahma and God. And the answer is B. Ritualistic part of Veda was the focus of Mimamsa school and not Vaisheshika philosophy. So this Mimamsa philosophy focus on the analysis of texts of Samhitas and the Brahmanas because according to them, Veda contains the eternal truth and they are the repositories of knowledge and one can achieve salvation by learning these texts. So other options given here are correct because they are Vedanta theory, it gave credence to theory of karma. Nyaya school believes in the technique of logical reasoning and Charvaka, it denied the existence of Brahma and God. Answer is B. 79th question. Arrange in ascending order the 4 age cycles of Yuga. So let's see the answer directly. The 4 ages in ascending order are Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Presently, the current running Yuga is Kali Yuga, and it started at 3102 BC. Next question. Which of the following is not correctly matched? They have given certain festivals of Northeast and have asked us to find the incorrectly matched pair. Answer is B. Karchya Puja. It is related to, it is from the state of Tirupura and not from Assam as given here. So Hornbill festival, it is one of the major agricultural festival of Nagaland. Karchi Puja, it originates from the state of Tirupura. Cherauba festival, it is celebrated in the state of Manipur and it is the New Year according to the Manipuri tribes. And Vangala festival, it is celebrated by Garo tribes residing in Garo hills of Meghalaya. It indicates the beginning of winter. With that, we are coming to an end. Thank you.